Hey everybody, welcome to Amy Nolte Music. You can see the extended version of this video by getting Nebula. Click the card above my head. You might hear me play that song and think, that would make a great cover. Like, why don't you play that as a cover? And I kind of thought the same thing when I first tried to play this song, which is Buddy Holly by Weezer, on the piano by itself, all up high like that. But, you know, something happens after this beautiful opening. It does this. Does it again. And then it does this really cool thing. I love that part. But then we just got. I don't know how beautiful I could ever make that, right? And you'd have the lyrics in your mind, right? You'd be like, oh, I look just like Buddy Holly, and it would be really silly. It's because the beginning of this song has a mood to it. And the chorus of this song also has a mood to it. The moods are set by the minor 6 chord and the 1 chord. Ooh-wee, ooh, I do just like Buddy Holly. And both parts feel night and day from each other, but it's very effective to open the song with this minor 6 chord and, of course, the beautiful melody notes that I'll talk about in a second, and then to move to this very major pop, just rock and roll, Buddy Holly kind of sounding chorus. It's a cool trick, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. Let's check out those melody notes, though. We've got F sharp minor, and then we go to the natural 6, way up to the 2. And actually those notes, they're the same notes as another song that I love, that I've talked about. You remember this one? It's No, I'm never fall in love again. Eric Carmen, right? Which he took from Rachmaninoff. And the notes are the same. Same, just on a different beat. And with a different rhythm and with a different feel underneath. And I think that's really cool, actually. I don't know if Weezer meant to steal those notes from Rachmaninoff, but they did it, and they completely changed it, and I love it. So that's really nice. It's super melancholy at the beginning, that minor 6 chord. I want to explain to you what that is after I move that pen. Every major key has got a relative minor. So if you have A major, like that, you also have a relative minor, which is F sharp minor. The way to figure it out is to just play the major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and when you land on that 6th note, happens to be F sharp in A major, that's the root of your relative minor. You build a minor triad on that note, and you get these 2 chords that are beautifully related. I call them cousins sometimes. 2 of the 3 notes are the same, right? A, C sharp, E, that's for A major, F sharp, A, C sharp, that's for the minor 6, or F sharp minor. The A and the C sharp are the same. But if you add an E, sounds happy in major, and if you add an F sharp below, sounds sad in minor. And the songs I'm going to talk about today capitalize on that, and they use those 2 relative tonal centers to make a sad beginning and a happy ending, basically. A triumphant ending, an epic ending, anything other than what I just said. The next one I want to talk about is Long and Winding Road by the Beatles. right away they hook you with a melancholy sound. This song is in D major, but it starts with a B minor chord. And these notes, 2 flat 3, 2 7 5, those are other very melancholy kind of notes, much like the Weezer notes or Rachmaninoff notes that we just talked about. But then, as soon as we land on road, we get this sus chord. It's a G chord over an A bass note, and it takes us to a more hopeful place, like a landing. What does the road do? Well, it leads us here to your door. And even though we could end this chorus of the song, right? Lead me to your door, and it's so happy. All they gotta do is move back to that B minor, that minor 6 chord. The wild and windy night. And again, it's pensive and focused and like a question again. It's such a nice way to toy with the emotions of your listener. Next one I want to talk about is Like a Prayer by Madonna. Now this one is in F major or D minor. It starts here in D minor. Life is a mystery. Remember that one? Everyone must stand alone. We're still D minor mostly. I hear you call my name. And now we're F major. And it feels like home. Back to D minor. So Madonna is a flirt with this. She's just flirting back and forth between major and minor. Very church-like. This song is called Like a Prayer, and it does sound like... sounds like a church kind of cadence, doesn't it? But then as soon as we move here, that also sounds pretty churchy. I mean, she'll use the beginning to remind you of some kind of holy, sacred, even maybe scary place just a little bit. I hear you call my name. And it works. And it's intriguing. But then the triumphant chorus comes, and so does the gospel choir. It's a different kind of church all of a sudden. So it's a really nice use of that minor 6 to major 1 for effect. Now a song that I really like by Death Cab for Cutie is called I Will Follow You Into the Dark. And within the chorus of this song, they do this move from minor to major. So it happens much quicker here. It doesn't happen over the course of verse and then chorus. It all happens in the chorus really nicely for me. It's heaven and earth decide that they both are satisfied and illuminate the nose on their vacancy side. If there's no one beside you when your soul embarks, I will follow you into the dark. Starts in a minor place, ends in a major place, right? D minor to F, and it does it in a really clever way, I think. D minor straight to F major. Now to the 4, now back to the major, but back to the minor now, minor 6. Illuminate the nose, back to 1 on their 5. Vacancy sign, back to the minor 6. If there's no one one side you in your... Now we actually hit the 5 of minor 6, which is A7. When your soul embarks, now to the minor 6. We're just going to go right back to major, 4, 5, 1. No, we're not. We're going to go 4, minor 4. I will follow you into the dark. I even played minor 4, 6 right there. Isn't that beautiful? Such a nice song. Great composition. Now, you might hate me for the next one. It's supposed to be played by a guitar player. It's a great example of what I'm talking about here. Well, she's walking through the clouds with a circus mind that's running around. Butterflies and zebras and moonbeams, fairy tales, That's all she ever talks about. Riding with the wind. Jimi Hendrix starts with the E minor chord. Walking goes straight to the major chord, much like Death Cab for Cutie just did. Through the clouds, G major. With a circus mind, that's the 2 of G major, minor 2, A minor, that's running, and we go right back to that minor 6, round. Now we do a really nice thing, which is to come up to the median, to the B minor chord, right? It's the 3 minor chord. Butterflies and moonbeams, what did I say, zebras, fairy tales, I don't know. And then we walk down to that minor 2. Now we land. Right there on the 1 is so beautiful. It's all she ever thinks about. We go down to that flat 7, to the 4, riding with the wind. And he could have taken us to some kind of triumphant, right, major chorus, but he doesn't. It winds right back around, brings us back to the sad place, which is nice. Whether or not we're talking about the second verse, or we're talking about just the chorus. So you don't necessarily have to start the song in this sad way and take your time to move to the happy place. Many of these songs have done it right away, right? And we don't necessarily know if we're major or minor, and it doesn't necessarily matter. We're both. Last song I'll mention today is Mirrors by Justin Timberlake. I love Justin Timberlake, and this song has everything. Aren't you something to admire? 'Cause your shine is something like a mirror, and I can't help but notice, but you reflect in this heart of mine. We just got 3 chords here. C minor, G minor, F minor. So we're gonna call that minor 6, because we're in the key of E flat major in my mind. We're getting there, I promise. And we're going to go to 3 minor, G minor, now 2 minor, no, F minor. Now, he stays there for the pre-chorus. Put your hand in my hand and a pocket full of soul. I can tell you there's no place we wouldn't go. It's so nice. It's the same exact chords, but he's got so much bounce, so much rhythm in his melody. And I mean, you can hear the beat underneath it, right? I mean, all you have to do is just start singing that melody, and I don't even need to do the you can already feel it. I know you can. And then when he gets to that pre-chorus, he just raises it. It's so clever. Are we going to have a triumphant chorus? Yes. Heck yes, we are. This is the song I'm ending with. Of course, I'm going to prove my point again. You just gotta be strong. I'll let JT do it. We just explode into E flat major. It's so nice. I mean, and it's the part in the lyric where he talks about what she really is to him. And she's like a mirror, which is probably a really major kind of thing. I guess if you're happy, it's major, triumphant, epic, right? Let's hear the end of the chorus, though. As clear as this promise that we're making, 1 to 5, 2 reflections into 1. That's the 4 chord. It's like you're my mirror, 1. Oh, 5, my mirror staring back at me, and then we're right back. Can you feel what I'm talking about? Can you see why I made this video? It's so cool to just understand what something is called, basically. Like, I mean, most of us just listen to music all the time, and we know that we like the way it makes us feel, but stopping to understand what something is called, I mean, that's music theory. That's what made me want to be a musician, was like asking people, what's that called? What's the name of that chord? Why does that chord work? And it's always been interesting to me. It always will be interesting to me. But just knowing that if you've already written like your happy chorus and it's major and you don't have a verse yet, an idea is just to start on that minor 6 chord and bring everything to a whole other level. Sad and happy, right? Like life would be really boring if everything was all the same all the time. It's that juxtaposition of feeling that makes life beautiful, and it's the same with music. Same goes the other way. If you've got a sad verse that you've written, consider the triumphant chorus in a major key. I suppose it could be vice versa too, but I said I'm not talking about that today. Try it in your compositions, see how it works for you. I chopped this video up just a little bit for YouTube. The extended version is on my streaming service, Nebula. Sometimes I do that. YouTube, I'll make a shorter version. Nebula, I'll put the longer, more in-depth version. That's because people tend to click away on YouTube if things get a little bit too long or maybe too in-depth for them. And I would know it if I looked at my analytics, but the cool thing about Nebula is there is no analytics. There are no analytics for me. I can't even see if you were to click away. So it makes me not care. It makes me able to put whatever I want on that platform and know that the people that are there for me, there for themselves to increase their knowledge, are there. They're in it. They're in it for the long haul. They really want to go deeper. A lot of my videos have extended cuts, and they're over on Nebula. If you sign up using the code that you see on the screen here, it gives you a 40% discount. That's $30 for the entire year. And I don't just mean me on Nebula. I mean all close to 200 creators that put their content on Nebula, the deeper content, the extra content, the classes that they make. I have a brand new class on Nebula talking about what we talked about today. It's talking about chords, everything I know about chords, part 1. Part 2 will be out very soon. And if you sign up with this link, you get all of Nebula, you get all of my classes. You'll get that class, you'll get part 2 when it comes out. You'll get my class about how to create meaningful motifs without using scales or arpeggios for jazz improvisation. You'll also get my class called Amy and Adam Play the Blues with the great Adam Neely. Adam Neely is another Nebula creator. You can check out all of his extra material on Nebula, as well as his Nebula class about how to vlog your concerts. It's fascinating. Signing up for Nebula is also a great way to support me. I'll receive streaming revenue from everything you ever watch of mine there. Thanks everybody so much for watching. I hope you had fun talking about the minor 6 chord and the triumphant major 1 chord today. I'll see you next time on Amy Nolte Music.